Say I'm your husband, said the Arab CEO. His reason left everyone speechless. That one. She stole my diamond bracelet. The scream echoed through the marble lobby of the Grand Regency Hotel in Manhattan. All eyes turned to Nadia Johnson, 29, frozen beside her cleaning cart. The woman pointing was Victoria Whitmore. Flawless platinum hair, white Chanel suit, Louboutin heels. She crossed the lobby like a missile, accusing finger pointed at Nadia. You were in my room this morning. My Cartier bracelet was on the dressing table. Now it's gone. I didn't take anything. Nadia's voice trembled. Of course you did. You were the only person in my room. The manager, Mr. Mitchell, appeared quickly. Miss Johnson, come with me. Now. Search her. Victoria demanded. Executives stopped. Tourists stared. Nadia felt each gaze like a stab. 6 years working there without a complaint. She had grown up in the Bronx, the daughter of a single mother who worked 3 jobs. She had dropped out of college in her sophomore year because of debt. Now she cleaned rooms and sent money to her sick mother. But she had never ever stolen. I don't want a scene, Mitchell grabbed her arm. Let's settle this discreetly. Discreetly. Victoria laughed. These people think they can steal and get away with it. A deep, calm male voice cut through the tension. Excuse me. I believe there's been a serious misunderstanding. A tall man, perhaps 38 years old, crossed the lobby. Dark gray suit, light brown skin, black hair with silver streaks, trimmed beard. A presence that made people turn their heads. And who the hell are you? Victoria turned. Tariq Al-Mansour. Mitchell's eyes widened. Mr. Al-Mansour. We didn't know you were staying here. It's an honor. My wife didn't steal anything, Tariq said firmly. Nadia blinked. Wife. Your wife. Victoria looked from Tariq to Nadia with disdain. That cleaning lady? That woman has more integrity than most people I know. I suggest you check your purse or car before making public accusations. He moved closer to Nadia. Honey, breathe. This will be resolved. Nadia looked at this stranger. Dark brown eyes held ancient pain. Mr. Al-Mansour, Mitchell stammered. Of course, we'll check everything. She stole. I want the police. Victoria crossed her arms. The police. Tariq raised an eyebrow. Interesting. I have lawyers on 3 continents. Public defamation is something they take very seriously. Victoria paled. Mitchell broke the tension. Ms. Whitmore, let's go to your room and check. Victoria hesitated, her confidence wavering. If you don't find it, I'll sue everyone. As Mitchell led her to the elevators, Tariq remained by Nadia's side. Why did you do that? Nadia whispered. You don't even know me. I know this scene. I've seen it before. I couldn't stand by and do nothing. Who are you? Someone who understands being judged before having a chance to speak. Tariq held out his hand. Coffee. Nadia looked at his hand. A man with power money, who had risked his reputation for a stranger. She followed him to the hotel cafe. He pulled out a chair for her. Why did you lie? Why did you say I was your wife? Tariq sighed. Because 10 years ago, my mother worked as a maid in Dubai. Her employer accused her of stealing a ring. She called the police and made a scene. My mother cried so much she became ill. He gripped his cup tightly. 3 days later, her employer found the ring in a drawer. The apologies were private. The humiliation was public. And your mother? She never recovered. She died 5 years ago. Cancer. But that humiliation haunted her until the end. Nadia felt a lump in her throat. I'm sorry. That's why when I saw that woman doing to you what they did to my mother, I couldn't stay silent. You said your name as if it were important. I'm the CEO of Al-Mansour Holdings. Investments, hotels, commercial development, including a stake in this hotel. So you lied because you have power. I lied because people like Victoria only respect those they think have someone powerful on their side. Tariq's cell phone rang. He answered, listened, and hung up. They found a bracelet. It was in Victoria's bag, in a compartment she forgot about. Nadia felt tears of relief. Will she apologize? I doubt it will be public, like the accusation. Then it's useless. It's not useless. Tarek took out his business card. Because now you know you're not alone. If you need anything, call me. Nadia took the card. Why would you do that? Because my mother taught me that when you see injustice, you act. He stood up. And because a black woman is being accused by a rich white woman? I know how this story usually ends. I wanted to change the ending this time. Nadia put the card away. She didn't know if she would call. But for the first time in 6 years, she felt that someone had really seen her. Not as an invisible cleaning lady. As a human being. If you're enjoying this story about dignity, courage, and how one gesture can change everything, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to find out what happens when these two people's paths cross again in an even more unexpected way. 2 weeks passed. Nadia kept Tarek's card in the drawer next to her mother's photo. She didn't have the courage to throw it away, but she didn't call either. Victoria Whitmore never apologized. Mitchell delivered a formal note saying that the misunderstanding had been resolved, but Nadia's colleagues still whispered. Some avoided her. Others looked at her with suspicion. It was Rosa, another cleaning lady, who brought the news. Did you see? Rosa showed her cell phone during a break. Social gossip article, Victoria Whitmore accuses hotel employee of theft again. Nadia read it quickly. 3 years earlier, at a hotel in Los Angeles, Victoria had accused a Hispanic maid of stealing earrings. The maid was fired. A month later, Victoria posted a photo on Instagram wearing the lost earrings. She does that, Rosa said. She accuses, destroys someone's life, then moves on. Why? Because she can. Because we're invisible until she needs someone to blame. Nadia felt anger burning inside her. There has to be something we can do. Do what? She's rich. We're nobodies. But Nadia couldn't forget it. That night, in her small apartment in the Bronx, she opened her old laptop and started searching. Victoria Whitmore. 34 years old. Heiress to a cosmetics fortune. Married to a Wall Street executive. Instagram with 500,000 followers, showing her luxurious life. Nadia scrolled through the comments. And then she saw it. She accused me of stealing a purse at a restaurant last year. She made me so embarrassed. Another comment, my cousin worked for her family. Victoria lost her necklace and blamed her. My cousin lost her job. There was a pattern. Victoria had a history of accusing employees, always women, always minorities. Nadia took Tarek's card. She looked at the number printed on it. It was 10 p.m. too late to call. But she typed a message, Mr. Al-Mansour, this is Nadia Johnson from the hotel. Sorry to bother you, but I found out something about Victoria Whitmore that you should know. The reply came in 3 minutes. Can you call me now? I need to hear this. Nadia called, her hands shaking. Nadia, Tarek's voice sounded warm. What did you find out? She told him everything. The LA article, the comments on Instagram, the pattern of accusations. Tarek was silent for a moment. She does this regularly. Yes. And she always gets away with it because no one has the resources to fight back. But now someone does. Tarek's tone changed, becoming more determined. Do you want to do something about it? I do. But I don't know how. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. coffee shop near the hotel. Let's talk about it properly. The next morning, Nadia arrived at the cafe nervous. Tarek was already there, but not alone. A woman in her 50s, African-American, elegantly dressed, sat next to him. Nadia, this is Diane Carter. She's a lawyer specializing in labor rights and defamation. Diane extended her hand. Nice to meet you. Tarek told me about your case. And about Victoria Whitmore. They sat down. I've been researching Victoria for the last 12 hours, Diane opened her briefcase. I found 6 similar cases in the last 5 years. All women, all service employees, all minorities. None of them sued because they didn't have the resources. But I have the resources, Tarek said. And I want to do something my mother never could. Fight back. Nadia looked between them. You want to sue Victoria? Not just her, Diane smiled. We want to expose her. Publicly. The way she exposed you. How? By gathering all the victims. Collecting evidence. Documenting patterns of behavior. Diane leaned forward. And then, hitting her where it hurts most. Her public reputation. But she's rich. She has lawyers. And I'm better, Diane said simply. I've taken down people more powerful than Victoria Whitmore. Tarek took Nadia's hand. You don't have to do this. You can move on with your life. But if you want justice, not just for yourself but for everyone she's hurt, I'll help you. Nadia thought of her mother. Years spent cleaning houses, being invisible, accepting humiliation because she needed to survive. She thought of Tarek's mother, dying under the weight of that unjust shame. I want to do this. Over the next 3 weeks, Nadia worked in secret. During breaks, she contacted women who had commented on Instagram. At night, she organized testimonials with Diane. They found Carmen, a maid in LA, Fatima, a nanny for the Whitmore family, Jessica, a waitress at a restaurant in Miami. All with identical stories. Diane documented everything. Dates, locations, patterns. Victoria does this when she's stressed, Diane explained. She loses something, panics, blames the most vulnerable person around her. It's systematic abuse of power. Tarek arranged legal protection for everyone. No one will lose their job for speaking out. I guarantee it. It was during a meeting in week 3 that the plan took shape. Victoria has a charity event in 2 weeks, Diane showed the invitation. A charity gala at the Plaza Hotel. Press, socialites, photographers. The perfect place for her to be exposed, Tarek murmured. How? Nadia asked. Leave it to me, Diane smiled. But I'll need you there. All of you. She'll recognize me. Exactly. Tarek looked at Nadia. This time, you won't be invisible. You'll be impossible to ignore. Nadia felt a mixture of fear and excitement. What do you have in mind? Something your mother would be proud of, Tarek replied. Justice served with dignity. But 2 days before the event, everything almost fell apart. Mitchell called Nadia into his office. I hear you're planning something against a hotel guest. Nadia froze. Who said that? It doesn't matter. But if you cause trouble, you'll be fired immediately. Understand? I understand. When she left, Nadia called Tarek, her voice trembling. They know. I don't know how, but they know. Victoria has friends in high places, Tarek said calmly. She's trying to scare you. Did it work? Nadia thought. About 6 years of being invisible. About her mother working herself to exhaustion. About all the women Victoria had destroyed. No, it didn't. Then I'll see you at the Plaza Hotel. Wear your best. You'll be the star of the evening. The Plaza Hotel was dazzling. Crystal chandeliers, champagne flowing, women in designer dresses. Victoria Whitmore reigned in the center, wearing a red Valentino dress, smiling perfectly for the photographers. Nadia arrived at 7:30 p.m., wearing a simple but elegant navy blue dress that Tarek had insisted on providing. Carmen, Fatima, and Jessica were with her. Diane and Tarek waited at the entrance. Ready? Diane asked. Ready, Nadia replied, more firmly than she felt. They entered together. Victoria was on stage, giving a speech about empowering women in need. The irony did not go unnoticed. And that's why I believe that everyone deserves opportunities, regardless of their background, Victoria was saying when she saw Nadia. She stopped mid-sentence. The color drained from her face. Nadia walked to the front of the hall. Carmen, Fatima, and Jessica were by her side. Tarek and Diane were behind her. Excuse me, Diane said loudly enough for the microphone to pick up. Ms. Whitmore, may I ask a question? Victoria looked at security, then at the crowd. Reporters were filming. She couldn't make a scene. Of course, she said, smiling stiffly. 2 weeks ago, you accused Nadia Johnson here of stealing your bracelet at the Grand Regency Hotel. Is that correct? A heavy silence fell. There was a misunderstanding. It's been resolved. A misunderstanding, Diane repeated. Like the misunderstanding 3 years ago when you accused Carmen Rodriguez of stealing earrings in Los Angeles? Carmen stepped forward. You made me lose my job. You posted a photo wearing the lost earrings a week later. Victoria paled. I don't know what you're talking about. Or 5 years ago, Fatima added, when you accused me of stealing a necklace while working as a nanny for your children. You found it in your own safe 2 weeks later. You never apologized. That's ridiculous, Victoria stammered. Security. I'm Diane Carter, attorney. Diane showed her ID. And I have documentation of 6 cases in the last 5 years. All women. All minorities. All falsely accused by you. She opened her briefcase, showing documents. Sworn statements. Instagram posts with your own photos wearing stolen items. A pattern of systematic abuse. Reporters approached, cameras flashing. You can't do this here. Victoria stepped off the stage. This is a private event. Public charity event, Tariq interjected, his voice calm but firm. With invited press. Perfectly legal. You, Victoria turned to him with hatred. You planned this. No. She planned it. Tariq pointed at Nadia. I just gave her the resources she deserved to have. Nadia stepped forward, staring at Victoria. You humiliated me publicly. You made me look like a criminal in front of everyone. And I found out you do this repeatedly, because you can, because we're invisible to you. I don't have to listen to this from a cleaning lady, Victoria spat. No, you have to listen to 6 women whose lives you tried to destroy, Nadia replied. And to all the press here who now know who you really are. Diane handed Victoria an envelope. A defamation lawsuit on behalf of all 6 women. And a copy has already been sent to every newspaper here. Victoria opened the envelope, her hands shaking. You can't prove anything. Your own social media is proof, Diane smiled. Every photo of stolen items you posted after accusing someone. Every comment from victims you ignored. All documented. Victoria's husband appeared, pulling her arm. Let's go. Now. This isn't over, Victoria hissed at Nadia. That's right, Nadia replied calmly. It's just beginning. Because now everyone knows. You can't do this anymore. Victoria left hurriedly, her husband dragging her. Camera flashes followed her. The hall erupted in conversation. Reporters surrounded Nadia and the other women. How do you feel? A reporter asked. I feel like I've finally been seen, Nadia replied. Not as an invisible cleaning lady, but as a human being who deserves respect. 3 days later, the story was everywhere. Cosmetics heiress exposed for pattern of false accusations against employees. Victoria's social media was flooded. Brands cancelled contracts. A charity event returned her donation. Nadia was in the apartment when Tariq called. Did you see the news? I did. It's everywhere. Victoria has agreed to a settlement. Public apology, financial compensation for all 6 women, and sensitivity training program. Tariq paused. You won. We won, Nadia corrected. I couldn't have done it without you. Wrong. You could have. It might have taken longer, but your heart and courage would have found a way. Why did you do all this? Really? Tariq sighed. Because when my mother was accused, I was 15. Too young to help, too poor to fight. I swore that if I ever had the power, I would never let it happen again. Your mother would be proud. And yours would be proud of you. You didn't just defend yourself, you defended all those who couldn't. Nadia felt tears welling up. Thank you. For seeing me when I was invisible. You were never invisible, Nadia. The world just wasn't looking properly. The next day, Mitchell called Nadia into his office. She expected to be fired. Instead, he handed her an envelope. Promotion to training supervisor. New employee labor rights program. Tariq Al-Mansour insisted that you lead it. Nadia opened the envelope and saw her new salary. Almost double. And Miss Johnson? Mitchell added, uncomfortable. I'm sorry. For not defending you that day. Me too, Nadia replied. But now you can do better. 6 months later, Nadia Johnson had her own office at the Grand Regency Hotel. No more cleaning uniform, but a professional suit. The sign on the door read, Director of Dignity and Labor Rights. Her program had trained 200 employees on rights, reporting procedures, and protection against abuse. 3 managers had been fired for misconduct. The hotel had implemented a zero-tolerance policy. The phone rang. Miss Johnson? Mr. Almansour is here. Nadia smiled. Send him in. Tarek entered carrying coffee and croissants. I brought breakfast. I know you skip it when you're working. Thank you. She took a cup. What brings you here today? A proposal. Tarek sat down. Almansour Holdings is expanding the labor dignity program to all our hotels. 15 properties in 8 countries. I want you as global director. Nadia almost dropped her coffee. Global. Salary 6 times your current one. Paid travel. Complete autonomy. And a chance to create real change on an international scale. Tarek, I barely finished college. I don't have the experience to. You have something better. You've lived it. You understand what employees go through because you've been there. He leaned forward. And you've proven that when you empower the right people, they change entire systems. Nadia looked out the window. View of Manhattan. 6 months ago, she was invisible, cleaning rooms. Now she had an office, a title, the power to make a difference. Can I think about it? Of course. But there's one more thing. Tarek handed her an envelope. Carmen started her own cleaning company. Fatima went back to nursing school. Jessica is studying law. They all used the settlement money to change their lives. And Victoria? She lost her brand contracts. She got divorced. She's on a spiritual retreat, according to her Instagram. Tarek smiled slightly. But most importantly, she lost her power to hurt people with impunity. 2 weeks later, Nadia visited her mother in the Bronx. Small apartment, but clean. Her mother sat on the sofa, her diabetes controlled with medication that Nadia could now afford. Mom, I need to tell you something. She told her everything. The indictment, Tarek, the investigation, the confrontation at the plaza, her new position. Her mother held her hands, tears in her eyes. Daughter, I worked 3 jobs my whole life. I never had a voice. I could never fight back when they treated me badly. But you? You did what I could never do. I learned from you. To work hard, to maintain dignity, to never steal even when we were desperate. I'm so proud. On the night of the celebration dinner, Tarek reserved a private restaurant. Nadia arrived and found not only him, but Carmen, Fatima, Jessica, Diane, and surprise, Mitchell. What's this? Nadia asked. A celebration, Tarek replied. 6 months since Plaza. Time to recognize what we've achieved. Diane raised her glass. To Nadia, who turned humiliation into movement. To all of us, Nadia corrected. None of us could have done it alone. After dinner, Tarek asked to walk with Nadia. They went to a nearby park. Did you accept the position? He asked. I accept. But on one condition. What is it? I want to create a fund for employees who have suffered abuse. Legal support, therapy, training. So that no one has to wait for someone rich to intervene. Tarek stopped, looking at her. You're incredible, you know that? I'm realistic. You won't always be there to save people. So we create a system that protects them. That's why you're perfect for the position. He took her hands. And that's why I fell in love with you. Nadia felt her heart stop. What? 6 months ago, I lied and said you were my wife. Today, I want it to be true. Not now, not with pressure, but someday. When you're ready. He took a small box out of his pocket. Inside was a simple ring. It's not a proposal. It's a promise. That I'll be by your side, building a world where no one needs to feel invisible. Nadia looked at the ring, then at Tariq. The man who had seen her when the world had not. Who had used his power to lift her up, not to oppress her. Someday, she said softly. When we are truly equal partners. We already are, he replied. You just don't see it yet. A year after the incident at the Grand Regency, Nadia was at an international labor rights conference. Her lecture, From Invisibility to Influence, drew a packed room. A year ago, I was accused of a theft I didn't commit. I was invisible, disposable, voiceless. She looked out at the audience. Today, I run a program that protects 3,000 employees on 3 continents. Not because someone saved me, but because someone saw me. After the conference, a young cleaning lady approached her. Miss Johnson? My manager accused me of stealing. I'm afraid of losing my job. Nadia took her hands. Give me his name. You won't lose anything. You will gain justice. On the 2nd anniversary of that day at the Grand Regency, Nadia married Tariq in a small ceremony. Her mother sat in the front row, crying. Carmen, Fatima, and Jessica were her bridesmaids. When they exchanged vows, Tariq whispered, You are no longer my fake wife. And you are no longer my savior, Nadia replied. Now we are just 2 human beings building something real. 5 years after that day in the marble lobby, Nadia was being interviewed on TV. How do you feel about Victoria Whitmore now? The reporter asked. I feel sorry for her. She lived her life thinking that power meant oppressing others. She lost everything when the exposés showed who she really was. And your message to invisible people? You are not invisible. The world just needs to learn to see. And when you stand up, when you speak out, when you fight, you change everything. Not just for yourselves, but for everyone who comes after you. That night, Nadia and Tariq sat on the porch of their house. She looked at the ring on her finger. Simple, but meaningful. Your mother would be proud, she said. Our mothers would be, Tariq corrected. 2 strong women who raised sons who don't accept injustice. Nadia rested her head on his shoulder. Thank you for that day. For lying that you were my husband. It wasn't a lie. It was a prophecy. He kissed the top of her head. Sometimes the future disguises itself as the present. Because in the end, this wasn't a story about a rich man saving a poor woman. It was about recognizing humanity where others saw only function. About using privilege to lift up, not oppress. About a woman who refused to remain invisible. Victoria Whitmore lost everything. Money couldn't buy redemption. Nadia Johnson gained everything, not for revenge, but for dignity. And thousands of employees now worked knowing they had a voice, protection, value. Sometimes, a lie told in a moment of compassion becomes a more beautiful truth. And sometimes, the person the world ignores is exactly the one who changes it. If this story touched you, if it reminded you that no one is invisible and that justice is worth fighting for, subscribe to the channel. Share it so that more people can see that dignity is priceless and that one person with courage can start a revolution. Comment on a time when you or someone else was underestimated and proved everyone wrong. Because stories like this need to be told, shared, and celebrated.